Taking standardized tests can be stressful. Viterbo University says the ACT and SAT are not reflective of all students, which is why the university is choosing to remove them from its admissions process. When the pandemic first started, Viterbo University made testing optional for admission.
In fact, about half of our students in the last 2 cycles have applied test optional.
Now the university is making that policy permanent.
When they're applying to Viterbo, they still get to choose if they want those scores factored into their admission consideration.
Director of Admissions Brian Weber says test scores do not define a good student.
I think for some students who don't see their test scores as reflective of themselves, or even students who didn't have access to take an exam, that test is a barrier.
Holman High School counselor Hannah Nickum says this helps students who are not used to taking tests.
Maybe they've never been in an environment where they need to take a timed exam. Because that's not really what a traditional high school looks like anymore.
Nickum says this new policy makes college accessible for more students.
So we're really excited to be able to share with all of our students the ability that college could be a little bit more accessible, and it's not just based on one score.
Weber says the new policy helps first-generation students.
Almost 62% of our first-generation college students chose test optional. So that is a population really near and dear to our hearts at Viterbo.
He hopes the new policy will help students be successful beyond the classroom.
And there's some elements of tenacity and character and grit and things like that we look for in students to be successful.
Weber says students can choose to submit test scores, but they are not required to do so. All students will be evaluated equally during the admissions process. Reporting in La-Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Dua. Staff at Holman High School say they hope more colleges will adapt to an optional testing program.
And the University of Wisconsin system will keep testing optional until 2025.